Hi, this is Joan Landino Says. Welcome back. This is my office manager, Michael Foggett, and this is Tim Faraday. And he's here just in case, I believe, he has the same questions that my audience would have. Tim, what's your degree in?
Communication with a concentration in interpersonal and relational.
Perfect. So today's topic is what else could be causing my depression. At Integrated Psychiatric Services, my colleagues and I do extensive lab work that's usually not done on a routine physical, and that includes vitamins and minerals. Initially, we would check your thyroid because most people who have a low thyroid functioning, they're replaced with T4. But T4 doesn't really cut it. T3 is our happy hormone. Very, very resistant in psych to prescribe T3 because it can throw you into mania.
Okay.
And that would make somebody too happy. Mm-hmm. And that would be dangerous. So when I tell my clients, I will prescribe you T3 if it's low. It's called Cytomel. But if you are too happy, please call or text me.
So it's a stabilizer.
Yeah, but
it's a mood stabilizer?
No, there's no such thing as a mood stabilizer. We made that up not to scare people.
But why is it dangerous
I'll
to
get
be
back
too
to that.
happy? Why can't you be too happy?
Well, that's what my clients say, Joan.
Why can't I be too happy?
If I am too happy, you are the last person I will call or text. So it is funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
But you have to monitor those levels, and mania is dangerous because you'd end up being hospitalized.
Yeah.
Right. One of you is supposed to say, what else do you check for, Joan?
What else do you check for, Joan?
We check especially for B12 and vitamin D. Quest Diagnostics in Virginia called me several years ago and said, what is up with Connecticut? Why are you so D deficient? And I know that if you live in a city, if you have darker skin, we are very low D. That causes depression and anxiety, especially fatigue, and there's a well-established relationship between vitamin D and multiple sclerosis, as well as many other medical conditions that I really don't want to list right now, but Alzheimer's is one of them, and cognitive decline.
So a deficiency in vitamin D can cause a lot of problems.
Yes.
And what can we do to get more vitamin D in a natural way?
Oh, sun, but what do they tell you about sun? It's bad for us, yes. So vitamin D supplements, and I would suggest a gel cap because I had somebody on a tablet. So just get a more expensive or
So
top
you'd
of the
recommend a
line.
multivitamin?
Not necessarily.
Like specialized in the
D3.
Yeah.
D3.
D3 gel, and that will increase it. The tablets tend to, 1 year later, a person went up 1 point. I, on the other hand, take D2 because I'm vegan, and D3 comes from animal sources, which is a bummer because D2 is not as absorbable. And I was as
Can
low
they
as
make D3 without
I'm
having?
working on it.
Okay.
Totally.
You let us know when you can
You're
find
gonna
that.
make-
And I'm going to let
Manufacturing
all
your D3.
vegans know when I've got the D3 non-animal source.
What does vitamin D, like, so you test me and I'm low in vitamin D, and I start taking the supplement or the gel capsule. What is that gonna, what will I see changing about me?
Less fatigue and improved mood and
Okay.
concentration.
So B12 and vitamin D3 is something, or D2, depending if you're vegan, is something that we should take on a daily basis?
Not necessarily. You got to get your levels checked. Well, B12 is fine. It's water soluble. Any water soluble vitamin you can take as much as you want. When your body doesn't need it, it'll excrete it out. If it's fat soluble, it could have some toxic effects. Minor.
Well, I mean, I'm tired all the time and I take a B12 every day
You might be low D.
and a multivitamin.
You might be low D.
I'll get some B3.
D3.
D3.
I'll go with you. So you get it.
And then with B12, normal ranges are between 200 and 1100, and even though it's normal, 200 is normal, anything under 400 has been shown to cause neuropsychiatric symptoms as well as, I want to say hematologic abnormalities, but I'll change that, blood abnormalities and changes.
Okay.
Ask me what that is.
What's a blood abnormality?
Well, I had a client, you remember her, she's in her 30s, was being ruled out for leukemia, and then she said to her hematologist, hey, wait, my therapist told me that low B12, which she had, could cause blood abnormalities and neuropsychiatric changes. So he actually, I really praise him for doing this. He called, got her B12 levels, which were under 400. He held off on the chemotherapy med, got her B12 levels up, and then retested her for leukemia and cleared her of the diagnosis. So that's how important B12 is.
And just a normal blood analysis can tell us that.
Yes.
Okay. I'll head to Quest.
Or clinical labs. They're not for profit. Clinical labs are
Okay.
a non-profit. If you have no health insurance, I'm one of the 6 million people that have no health insurance. I would go to clinical labs only because they would give me what's that?
A discount.
Discounted price.
Good to know.
Yes. The next thing that we test for is magnesium, because magnesium
Okay.
can cause depression.
I
Low.
take a supplement for that.
You do?
And potassium. It's good for your heart.
Yes, it is. It is.
That's why I take it.
Excellent.
Why magnesium? That's actually something that I don't think I've ever went to a vitamin aisle and said, I need some magnesium.
It's very good for you.
So what does that do?
Low magnesium would cause depressive symptoms. And where do you get magnesium? Dark chocolate. I prefer Belgium or
I
Dutch.
should have known.
And I think it's nuts, grains, beans, and seeds. And not many
Almonds?
people do that. Yeah, sure.
Almonds.
Almonds are great for
Flaxseed,
men. Yeah, okay.
probably, right? I think.
And then what else is in dark chocolate is copper. So we also test for copper. Usually Connecticut was all set because we were a copper-rich soil state. But anything with low or high copper, so I'm going to start calling it a copper imbalance, can cause so many symptoms. Wait till you hear. Depression, mood changes, fears, phobias, anxiety, panic attacks, and cognitive impairment. Way high levels of copper can actually cause psychosis.
So too much copper can cause all this.
Yes.
That's awful.
It's awful, is right.
And where do we get so much copper?
The soil.
Well, those foods, but then we used to be all set in Connecticut with the soil. It's not the farmer's fault. There's so many people now that the farmers actually have to plant. They used to have to take a 2-year break so that it would replenish the soil, but then there's so many people, they don't have time to replenish
all
the
that,
soil.
there's not.
So you should have your copper levels checked. For some reason, women, that's our mineral, copper. Your mineral is zinc.
Okay.
Copper is related to estrogen, so we often have higher copper levels than you guys do. What's interesting about that is high copper levels normal, not psychosis. We're not psychotic.
Speak for yourselves.
I know. It tends to put women, it gives us our feminine qualities. I'm not saying a lot of copper would give you feminine qualities, but it's, no road rage, no, can you believe it even is, it's just kindness and a little bit more gentle.
Copper?
Yeah.
So it makes you more somber,
Yeah, so, but not sleepy.
but not sleepy, okay?
So what I tell my female clients, that if your man is returning to his caveman days and is a little bit aggressive, cook with pennies or add some copper to the salt and pepper shaker.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Remember the movie Arsenic and Old Lace? Remember that?
No.
No.
Wow,
No,
okay.
she just aged herself.
Okay, so then after that, copper. Oh, I know, hormones. I forgot all about hormones. Very important.
Of
Yes.
course.
Estrogen makes us wild. Week before our menses, I'm going to start saying period because you didn't know what menses
Yeah,
meant.
she wrote menses. I didn't like that.
Did you know
Have
what
ever heard
menses
of
meant?
menses?
Menses, I'm assuming that's your menstrual cycle.
How?
Yeah, but I thought she was making it up.
He
Like
really-
I'm typing menses.
Well,
and
it
I'm
sounds like she abbreviated menstrual
Yeah.
cycle to be trendy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't though.
Like totes.
I didn't. Well, a week before our menses,
Okay.
we're not human. And if you've had a girlfriend, wife, or sister, you would know that. We usually put it on a calendar, get out
talk
of
to
jail free. Yeah, don't talk to me. It's serious. But testosterone has its own stuff. I'll get to that.
Of course.
But what I want to say about estrogen is we all know, especially with a full moon, ladies, that we could do a lot of work in this country without weapons during that period of time.
No pun intended, of course.
None. And what I want to say is, if the president is having trouble passing a law through Congress and the Senate, he should just hire 100 of us 1 week prior to our menses, and we will get that law passed. Moving to testosterone,
Yes. Oh, there we go. My time.
you're on the spot.
Yeah.
Low testosterone in men can cause depression, the gut,
Okay.
hair loss, but not with all. Some men are loaded with hair and they still have normal testosterone levels. A lot of my clients will ask me, and low libido. Oh, you know what libido means?
Yeah.
Do you?
Of course.
Somebody didn't. Low sex drive.
Sex. Of course.
Thanks. If you take estrogen supplements or the birth control pill, be careful of which one or how you're taking it and be monitored, because sometimes we can't excrete it. We feel great initially, but if we can't excrete it, it would build up in our system and could lead to something like ovarian cysts. If you start taking testosterone, be very careful, because levels higher than normal testosterone is weird, 200 to 1100.
Oh, wow.
I
that's a
know.
big range.
Big range. But over 1100, you're at risk for prostate cancer and testicular cancer.
Oh, wow.
And the dudes that are abusing anabolic steroids and they inject themselves with testosterone or take testosterone supplements have to also be careful, because they're not actually being monitored, because the steroids are decreasing their testosterone. That's why they co-inject with the testosterone.
Okay.
And then one guy said there's testy boosters. So I was like, wow. Text me the active ingredient in a testy booster.
this was good.
So he'll do a, I don't encourage ever using an anabolic steroid or abusing it, please. You get the big muscles, we can tell. You can't even put your arms down at your sides. It's like, holy cow, those were injected. Those are not your real muscles. And kind of a moon face. Why? Because it causes cerebral edema. Sad.
What is that?
Swelling inside your brain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that can change the structure of your face or the look of your face?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Noted.
steroids.
Steroids. So then the kid, he's not a kid, the young adult, texted me the active ingredient in the testy booster, and it was tamoxifen,
And what's tamoxifen?
Oh.
the breast cancer medication.
Oh, wow.
So
And that's
that-
in steroids?
No, it's
In a testy-
after they
Oh, it's
do
in a testy
steroids,
booster.
they'll take the testy booster. That is not giving you more testosterone that you've lost while you're abusing steroids. That's actually just suppressing estrogen.
Interesting.
I know.
And unfortunate.
And unfortunate, yes.
I have a question.
Oh, really?
No, I do. So if Timmy is low testosterone, how would he
Excellent question.
How would he get
Yes,
more?
how would you know?
Is it a pill?
Oh, you go to your urologist,
Okay.
and there are choices. There's I think it's androgel. That's a sticky gel that every morning you would put on your chest, and
So it's a gel that you would just put on your
Yeah.
chest?
yeah, it's a bit sticky.
Interesting.
And then you would put your t-shirt on over that, because it's highly flammable. So if you're a smoker or you walk by a candle, you can spontaneously ignite.
So for me to get more testosterone, let's be kind
Back
and
it
rewind
up,
on
okay.
that. If I want to get more testosterone, I have to put this sticky, flammable gel on
Yes.
my chest.
That
Yes.
could rub off on me.
That could rub off on a lot of people,
And
and I could catch on fire.
you could catch on fire. Unbelievable.
And there's no other alternative for that?
There are alternatives. First, put a t-shirt on after it
Well, of
dries.
course.
And then there are other alternatives. There are anal pellets.
Anal
That's-
pellets.
Because that sounds better than the gel.
I'll catch on fire.
The positive for that, it's 4 times a year. I, as a woman, would choose that. 4 times a year compared to every day? Hi.
Yeah, and not having a sticky gel. Like, that's like people who get the shot of birth control over having to take a pill every day. I think I would do.
Right.
But are there other options?
Yeah, there's an IM,
What's an IM?
intramuscular. But every time you get an IM into your muscle, it's an insult to your muscle. It's almost, it's a damage to your muscle. You don't want to
Okay.
keep injecting.
So all
There's
of
a
these ways just to
patch.
get more a patch. Well, that would be the most convenient thing. I would.
Really? Have you ever had the birth control patch? That falls off daily. Pull your jeans up, gone.
Well, can't you just put it here like a nicotine patch?
You could try that.
You think it'll fall off?
Nicotine patches fall off. We used to tape them in the hospital.
Not to me. I would take that
Okay.
over the anal inserts and the flammable
you
gel.
sure?
I think so.
Okay.
I want Timmy to try all 3 of them and come back next time and tell us which one works.
I'm
the
good
best.
with all of those, actually. I would try the patch if necessary, but I think I'm good with my
But let's just
testosterone.
send him off to clinical
labs.
labs, and then we'll find out next week.
Any other questions?
I can't think of any, Michael.
No, I think we're good on this topic.
I do too.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for tuning in to Joan Landino Says. I appreciate it. Any questions, you can refer to my blog, and please look up on YouTube and like the videos if you like it. See you next time.